Buenos dias, PASW staff, clients, and friends joining us. Welcome to Thursday's class. ¿Cómo se dice hey now? I don't know. I wanted to give you a professional Mexican intro, but that's okay. We are looking at probably the most important street in the city. I've thought about this for years doing this class, but I felt we needed more pieces of history around the city before we kind of look at the birthplace of Los Angeles. Although maybe it should have been the opposite, but who cares? Yesterday we looked at Procol Harum's Watershed of Pale. Hope you enjoyed that, and just to see the interconnectedness of music. Because Baroque was, way hundreds of years earlier than pop music. And what was the 1960s thinking when they were like, maybe we'll use something from a few hundred years ago? So we saw how they used that. And then film scoring results are in for Down Three Dark Streets. So, Buenos dias, yes. This is definitely a tourist attraction. So, but it's also better than bulldozers taking over this place. And so we're going to take a look at a very famous street, Olvera Street. So, birthplace of Los Angeles, that's pretty crazy. It's a Mexican marketplace right now that kind of, it's a nostalgic kind of old Los Angeles. And so we're talking about kind of a long, narrow block, very shady, and a lot of stands and painted stalls, street vendors, and delicious food. We'll take a look at that. Named after a judge, Agustin Olvera. Before it was Wine Alley. So we're gonna have to take a look at our timeline and also just go through bullet points of history of how this came about. We're saying 1930 because obviously that's late for, but this is when it was saved. It was saved by Christine Sterling. We'll talk about her. She reopened it and saved it. So 1930 is when it was actually closed, where no traffic could go down that street, and it was kind of probably looked very similar to what it looks like right now. So 30s, same year as the Wiltern for entertainment and concerts, right? Same year as LAX for travel. People can come in now on planes. Same year as Pantages that we did a long time ago. These are just classes that we had done. So entertainment and commerce and tourism is coming to LA. Okay, so we know that Tongva and the Gabrielino, natives were here before all of this. And they were probably just kind of kicking it cool and hanging in the beautiful climate. Then Spain comes, right? So Spain comes and, builds some missions, converts, people, kills people, terrible, tragic history. And then the king orders about 11 Mexican families, so about 44 people in the year 1781. So these people settle into the street that we're talking about. They settle into, it's not called Olvera Street, but I'm saying that. Accompanied by a few of the Spaniards, came along with them, but they settle here. And then 1818 is the Avila adobe. That's the oldest house in all of LA. Pretty crazy, right? So that's still standing. It's a museum now with furniture and stuff in it. And then Mexican Independence Day happens, we're free from Spanish rule in 1821. So, that was the Mexican War. So the plaza's there, and the plaza is the center of town where we're talking about these few streets and alleys, and they produce wine. They they have grapes, and a lot of the grapes, and so it was called Wine or Vine Street until it was changed in 1877 to Olvera Street after the judge. So that's what they were doing, and then all of a sudden America comes over, and why do you think they want California to include it in their diversity and everything? No, it wasn't. It was gold. I mean, the gold rush starts in 1848 And so by 1850, America's like, oh yeah, we're going to need California, unfortunately. So it's always about money. You know, it's kind of like if your girlfriend didn't like you and then all of a sudden you get all this money and you become a little bit better looking, you know, in her eyes or something. It's exactly like that, actually. So from Vine Alley, or Wine Alley, 1880s, it expands because we've seen with the railroad, right? Get a lot of people coming in, you know, people from Kansas for $1, just a trip out to LA. People start buying real estate, of course, but then people just want a better climate. So more immigrants start coming into LA. Also, a lot of Italians. You know, it's funny, I was thinking, we don't really have a Little Italy. You know, most towns, New York, they still have a Little Italy. Little Italy, there's some museums down there, but it was mostly, that was where Olvera Street was, Little Italy. Also a lot of Chinese people. And of course they go into Chinatown, which is, you know, kind of just literally like a few blocks from Olvera Street. So a lot of Chinese and Sicilians came there. And then Union Station is across the street, but that's not until the late 30s. So, but again, more tourism and people moving, migrating. But this is when it gets, the turn of the century is when Olvera Street gets really kind of in disrepair. Usually it's like the 1970s. Now this is like the 1870s, where it's just a lot of prostitution, a lot of drugs, a lot of just people, you know, poor people hanging out, looking for work. And so a lot of neglect is coming here, and they wanted to just demolish it all. Until a wealthy lady from Oakland, Christine Sterling, she comes in, and so by 1926, they're literally like about to bulldoze the Avila house, and she says, hey, stop the clock, hold on, not right now. She works really hard, like it takes years actually, not until 1930, because we looked at, for her to get the proper backing and paperwork and all that stuff, and mostly Harry Chandler's to thank. And we talked about Chandler Dynasty. He really, you know, he had the power of the newspaper, power of the press, and it was kind of a monopoly. So when she went to him, he said, okay. And again, I don't think this was out of the goodness of his heart. He saw dollar signs because this was going to be tourism. But you know what? At least at least it's not like a grove down there now. You know, I mean, we got something nice. So sometimes it does have to be about money. But if it can be classy with money, I think that's okay. So Chandler really helped Sterling, and they established the Plaza de Los Angeles Corporation. So which was to restore it and to close traffic. So traffic is not allowed in 1929. It opens 1930, reopens on Easter, and probably looks very much like it looks today. Can't talk about that without Solito Lindo, which is one of the best taquitos ever. That means beautiful little sky, right? Like little heaven. But that's Aurora Guerrero. She was from Mexico, and she was the founder of it. And so that opens in 1934. Taquitos with her famous guacamole sauce. Still a huge hit today, and it's just so great. Not the oldest restaurant. The oldest Mexican restaurant in LA is El Cholo on Western. That's 1927. So that's the oldest surviving Mexican restaurant. Just FYI. I mean, Sterling actually moves in. It's weird because like she lived in Chavez Ravine, and of course, as we know with Dodger Stadium, they destroyed that and kicked out all those families. So she saw a lot of change in unsettled, ideas of land people coming in, and so she moved into the Avila house, and she died there in 1963. So just a little history of Tongva, Gabrielinos, Spaniards, Mexicans, Chinese, Italians, and then whites too. A white person like Christine Sterling coming together to build a community. So you have these, street vendors and cafes and restaurants, gift shops selling, these very cute, handcrafted Mexican folk art, and a lot of tourists. I mean, there's about 2 million people a year that go there, so that helps the economy a lot. So that's where it all began. that little place from 1781. Los Angeles was founded there. So it's free to go. You can just go and walk down the streets. You can hear mariachi music. You can go to the plaza, and there's the church there. A lot of great, beautiful history. So hope you enjoyed some of that. And tomorrow we see your film scoring results for Down Three Dark Streets. Thanks for watching. Okay, talk to you. Well, I won't talk to you. I'll see you tomorrow. Okay, bye.